Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Auto Rhythm Fantasy Sports. It's another Tuesday. It's Waiver Tuesday. I'm your host and co-host. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. We're here to get this Tuesday underway. Hopefully, everybody gets in that chat and just goes away, just chats it up.
Tuesday, baby. Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Waivers and more waivers.
Yes, it is actually a waivers Tuesday. Man, we have a lot to talk about. I know we're going to highlighted players. I actually simmered down. I actually did 4, so it's not as long. With Eli's, it makes 5. So then we got our waiver wire tonight as well, and then we got Eli's bargain bin, and then we have my Ghostin segment as well. And then at the end, we got the college spotlight. So the college spotlight, and it helps viewers, as you might not be in the, it helps for next year. So if you're like a casual guy, or we're putting names out there to kind of rectify, to kind of watch for, for the 24 NFL draft, wherever they might land. You'd be like, oh, I heard these guys from Auto Rhythm, so just to kind of help you guys out a little bit.
Yes, and we're going to be rummaging and pillaging and bargain shopping. I need to get a little cart. I need to get a trash bin so that we can throw out the trash. And there's a couple players that are complete garbage that I would love to do that to. Mac Jones being the first one. And then I need to get a little shopping cart. I'll be like with Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. I'll have a little shopping cart in here, and that's what we're gonna do. But Jay so eloquently said, we got some goodies coming tonight, and college spotlight, of course, Malik Nabers. So stick around for that. That'll be up in probably about an hour. But yeah, you can go back and listen to any of the old shows on Spotify. We got Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, TuneIn. We're everywhere. And Discord, you can obviously follow us on there. Check out the page. We've had a couple guys from the Discord, I think, that have been on the show or commented here, and so that's a good way to build a community. You know what I mean? It's a good way to dip your toe in the water, and I'm not admittedly I'm not on there as much as I should be. Jay's on there quite a bit, and he covers a bunch of different topics, but once in a blue moon, you'll see me on there. I'll put in my 2 cents on some baseball, some football, obviously, basketball, NASCAR, all the above. So Discord is a great platform for that.
Yeah, it is. And our Discord link is actually in the description. So just click that link and join up in our Discord, man, because we want to kind of get that thing growing. Yeah, we just got, if you're into hockey, basketball, there's some channels in for that. Spring football's around the corner too as well. So after this is over, we got a little channel for spring football. So I guess the XFL and the USFL are no longer going to be. So I heard it's going to be the USFL or UFL now. So it's going to be yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's a catchy name. USFL wasn't a terrible name. XFL was always bad. I always thought that was a Vince McMahon WWE kind of name. But UFL is catchy. It's a good name. I think they're gonna. How many teams? Is it 16 teams? Are they merging?
I honestly I don't know yet. Yeah, it's still
if it is. It probably is, but that's a good sized league. The NFL, the original NFL, like what people would have said 80, 90 years ago, oh yeah, hey, the NFL is going to be 32 teams playing games overseas in different countries, Mexico, exhibition games in Japan and obviously England, and you'd been like, what? People been looking at you weird. So you never know. In the NFL, there was 10 to 14 teams in the original NFL. So that's a start. And and they didn't put on the AAF, which we remember a couple years ago with like Johnny Manziel, and AAF was complete junk. So I mean, I'm glad that that never made it past what, like week 6 of their league. But the XFL, was decent. But the USFL, I was impressed with. The USFL was a fairly competitive, decent league, and we've seen a couple of the USFL guys get signed by NFL teams. So I mean, it's
Well,
it's a, it's a
lo
great.
as long as like the XFL guys too. I mean, so I mean, it's a good transition, to get these guys more reps, more, I mean, I think it'd be in the long run. I mean, the only downfall that the XFL didn't have was like kind of a scouting program, which the USFL kind of got in with a company for scouting, which kind of help guys or bring guys in, to the USFL, which a good ooh, excuse me, a good advantage for them, and the XFL didn't have that. So I mean, think about combining both of those together, and they have a good a good scouting program and stuff like that to bring guys in, for when they do their draft stuff. So I mean, it's all in the work in progress. I'm not sure which teams are going to be eliminated, which teams are going to make it. So I mean, I'm sure they're all going to talk about, all this stuff down the road, but it's just a working trend before, I think probably before the season starts. So I mean, there's a lot they're going to have to get whipped out. So, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'm looking
other than
forward to it. Looking forward to it. Yeah. We see it now with what we're gonna get into in a couple minutes, like all these running backs being signed. Obviously they take more of a beating. That's the position that takes the beating the most. I mean, obviously the receivers aren't, but I mean, there's probably receivers getting looked at too. Late round guys, undrafted guys, quarterbacks. Guys that even if they end up being backups or third stringers, I mean, you still were good enough to make an NFL roster, and a lot of these guys can do some damage in the UFL. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be a highly competitive league, and they got guys that are winners. I mean, anytime I know people think it's a joke because it's The Rock, actor, wrestler, but I think anything The Rock is involved in, I mean, there's going to be a certain level. Like he's not gonna,
oh
he's not going to put out he's not going to put out a shitty product, and the people that are supporting this league aren't going to put out a shitty product, even if it's not meant to be the NFL. So if people are thinking, oh, this is a NFL light or it's an alternative to the NFL. It is what it's going to be.
yeah, most definitely. So how did your weekend go with fantasy football?
Uh, well, Yahoo, I went 3-0. So
Ooh,
we got two first place teams, and then uh sleeper, yeah, still hanging in there. But yeah, both those teams lost. So and there's a huge difference, man. I mean, different platforms. I mean, Yahoo, obviously, I would assume sleeper, you've got the more hardcore players. There's a step up in competition with, because Yahoo, I mean, you can get your grandma, you can get your sister, you can get, your cousin Billy, who you haven't seen in 5 years, who watches, 5 games a year. You can get all those people, but sleepers, to me, it's just a different level. And and when you're in dynasty leagues, especially the two that are over there on sleeper, I mean, you can't make mistakes. I mean, you can't. Obviously, if injuries happen, you got to move off somebody. But at various times in the year, I mean, I had to move off Zach Evans. I needed the roster spot, and now, lo and behold, Zach Evans is going to get some playing time. So it's, you kind of have to. I guess you kind of have to watch a little more than Yahoo. Yahoo, there's more mistakes people make, or people are more asleep at the wheel, I feel, like on Yahoo or ESPN, more of the generalized platforms than they would be on a sleeper or a different level. So,
yeah, most
but yeah,
definitely.
three and
Yeah, I
two,
went.
three and two. How'd you do? And then yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I went 4-0 in the NFL fantasy leagues. I went 6-1 in sleeper, and then I was hoping to go 2-5 in Yahoo, but ended up going 1-5. So I mean, you beat me there at the end. At the end there, I didn't even look at my teams. I looked and I'm like, if Pollard didn't have that big run, I probably would have won. I probably would have won. This is our 16 man league. Eli's undefeated now, and I am 500. So I was hoping on Big Herb to actually do something, and I had the Dallas kicker, and Big Herb kind of disgraced me a little bit. I mean, played good, Run game was shit, but I mean, all he could do was toss the damn ball, So yeah, it was not great. But I mean, overall, not a bad week. I think I was like 11-5, 11-6 or something. One of those two things. So overall, not a bad week overall. Pretty happy with it. Even though it seemed like some of the fantasy points were kind of down a little bit, overall, I mean, I was happy with most of my teams anyways. Yahoo, I try to be a little bit more competitive in there just because, they have their um, player profile on there, and I like to try to keep my ratings up instead of going down. So I like that stuff going upwards. So, but yeah, overall, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Keep that player rating up.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Yeah. So, anyways, let's hit some NFL news here quick. So, did you hear that?
I think
What's his name? What was his name? I think there was a guy that used to be with Atlanta, went to the Titans, and now he's with the Eagles. Oh, that's right. That's Julio Jones. So yeah, he was signed by the Eagles, the Eagles. So I know how's this guy even still alive? I mean,
I think I need to do a wellness check on Julio Jones. As far as I can tell, Julio still has a pulse. I thought he was dead. I thought he was 6 feet in the ground. I thought he was DOA. Once he was done with the Bucks, we saw obviously when he left Atlanta, we knew he wasn't what he used to be. Titans was a joke. Obviously, the Bucks he did a little bit, but I don't think honestly, I don't think this is going to help very much. I know they need depth. Quez Watkins went on the IR, I believe, so I know they
yeah,
need depth, but this was I think it was this was just like an AJ. I think AJ Brown was buddies with him when they were at the Titans. Just a favor to AJ Brown.
yeah. Um, yeah, he played with AJ Brown because AJ Brown pretty much knocked Julio out or whatever the heck it was when he was with the Titans at the time. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's really gonna be relevant for most teams. Might not, probably not even deeper leagues. I mean, he might get a few catches here and there just to cause distraction or whatever. But I mean, I probably won't be out racing to pick up Julio Jones.
No, I
Let's see.
wouldn't either. I was gonna say quick, the way the Eagles passing game is struggling, that if you're in a redraft year to year league, you might just just putting it out there, you might have to consider trading one of the two. If you have shares of Devontae Smith or if you have shares of AJ Brown, you might have to move off one of them. It's just the Eagles passing game just isn't what it was last year with Shane Steichen. It's just not, and I don't think another fourth or fifth receiver is going to make any difference, especially one that's 34 years old. I don't think this does anything, but it's noteworthy. I mean, we got to talk about it because it's Hall of Fame receiver, but it's Julio
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just the body the way I see it, and I'm like, oh, Julio Jones. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. It looks like a big whoop de doo. I mean, woohoo! Are we supposed to throw confetti because he got signed?
right.
I mean,
Yeah. That's the next prop I'll get.
um,
I,
yeah, I know, right.
I did a wellness check, and now they'll be confetti.
um, Jamal Williams is coming. He's designated to return from the IR. I don't think that's really going to matter too much because uh, Kamara is still going to be the guy down there. Myles Gaskin, he was signed today by the Rams. He so it sounds like Rivers and the other Williams, those two guys could be missing some time. So stay tuned with us. I mean, we got some guys that be able to pick up on our waivers here after we get our highlighted guys from the weekend done. So stick around because we'll have our waivers showing up here soon too as well. I'm trying to think of there's James Robinson. Did you see he actually got signed by the Packers?
Yeah, he got signed with the Packers. He's been. We need I need like a little Halloween prop, like a stand up zombie. I mean, I didn't, dude. I
Here,
thought he was done. I
here we
thought
go.
he was. Yeah. I thought that this man was UFL bound. I'll tell you what. I thought he was most certainly a UFL guy, but he went and he got signed by the Green Bay Packers.
I know,
It's
crazy,
just
right?
depth.
Yeah,
Aaron
pretty much.
Jones, his hamstring, yeah, his hamstring injury is lingering, so it's almost like he puts fantasy owners in a bind because he's too good to bench. But and if you trade him right now, if you're in a redraft year to year, you're not going to get the value that you should be getting for Aaron Jones. So he puts the fantasy owners in a bind right now because you don't know if he's playing or if he's. So while that's going on, AJ Dillon is what he is. He's a backup at best. So it just adds more depth. James Robinson, they're going to write a book on James Robinson. How do you how you screw up an NFL career? How you go from the 2020 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year to being out of the league in 2 years? Just incredible. But he's back. I mean, he's back, and at some point, I mean, Melvin Gordon got touches in an NFL game this year. You know what I mean? So, I mean, nothing's out of the question.
Yeah, and he got cut too. So I mean, he's no longer with the Ravens. We'll see how well that went. I mean, yeah. I mean, think of our lost friend Royce Freeman, who was with Denver, and
God.
he got signed by the Rams too as well. So I mean, I'm like Royce Freeman. I'm like, I haven't heard that name in forever, and I'm like,
years, yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, this is insane because I think he went. I don't know. Didn't he go to Miami and they let him go or something? I don't know. He must have went. I think he went somewhere else, and I don't remember offhand. But it was.
But I mean, it's just incredible. Like, would you have ever thought James Robinson would have been lumped in with the Royce Freemans of the world? Like, he'd just be a journeyman running back now that gets signed by 3 different practice squads a year. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah. And
crazy
think about it that James Robinson, he was 1,000-yard back, to all of a sudden to be booted out by Travis Etienne, so it's kind of like damn dude, he just to get washed out, got traded to the Patriots, then he got cut. So it's just like damn dude. I mean, it's almost like a wake up call in reality, I don't. I'm trying to think if there's any quick headlines. Justin Fields or not Justin Herbert came up short Monday night against the Cowboys. Kind of a downfall there. Dak actually bounces back in week 6. Tannehill. Even though the Titans got a bye, maybe it's time for some little Levis. Maybe this Titans need a little Levis.
Kill me now. Kill me. Oh man. Yeah, Tannehill, I got stuff for days on Ryan Tannehill, how awful I think he
sure
is.
You do.
I'll spare everybody. If you want to, maybe if we get a second show, that last call, I'll dedicate a whole half hour to Ryan Tannehill and why Will Levis is terrible too.
Yeah. And then let's see here. Anthony Richardson, sad deal. He's more likely done for the season. So yeah, you could probably drop him if you're in. You could drop him if you're in redraft. If you're maybe in a keeper and want to hold on to him, and I mean, it's gonna slash him in your IR. Yeah. Dynasty, you're holding on to him. But yeah, in redrafts, you're totally dropping AR5. I'm kind of disappointed. Now I have to scour in 2 QB leagues to find a replacement. Maybe if you stay tuned to our waiver wire, you might be able to find a replacement.
We got you, baby. AR5 lets you down. Out of rhythm, we won't.
Joshua Palmer, man, he was actually getting freaking targets last night. We were just, we were kind of messaging back and forth. I was actually interested in kind of seeing where Quentin Johnson, what he was going to do. He was nowhere to be found. Nowhere.
One target. One target. This guy, you know what? There were some people I thought with the size and I'm like, okay, he's going to break the trend of TCU receivers, Jalen Reagor and I forget the other guy, but yeah, there's been a couple of them that have been busts or like underperformed in the NFL. I thought he'd break that trend, but I mean, so far, I don't know if he's just not picking up the offense or, Kellen Moore is, if it's what he's speaking Japanese to him or something. But yeah. So far, he looks like a bust. Just through the first, 6 weeks of the season, looks like a bust. And, because there's no other excuse. Mike Williams is out of the way, done for the year. Keenan Allen, still highly productive, but 33 years old. Josh Palmer is a number, a really good. I think he'd be a really good number 3, but he's not a number 1 or number 2 in my opinion. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be putting up stats. I know a lot of rookies don't pop. Not everybody's Jamar Chase, but he's been, Quentin Johnston. He's a guy too that if you're in a redraft league, I mean, you might have to think about dropping him. Like if he's stashed on your bench, you might have to think about dropping him. He's just not producing right now.
Yeah, I had some shares. I don't know. I might hold on to him just for one more week to see if there's any production, and if I have to, if there's somebody else better than him, then in smaller leagues you could probably get away with him. 12 leagues,
Yeah, that 10-man,
skeptical.
definitely.
I would hold on to him in 12-man leagues, especially even 16, just in case you do got him.
16, yeah.
Yeah. Deebo Samuel's day to day, and if there's somebody else, if you're frustrated with Deebo, try to trade him. Try to trade him if you can. If there's a Deebo guy out in your league, try to see if you can make a deal with him. I'm kind of off. I don't have any shares of him, but I wouldn't be on him. Maybe if you got the guy who's got if you got the guy who's got the guy who has Ayukin, maybe if he's a Deebo guy, maybe swap him, maybe swap players or something. I don't know. But go ahead.
No, Deebo he got paid, and we knew that. We knew he wasn't going to have a long NFL career. He burned out bright just like a star. And I would much rather have Brandon Ayuk, Kittle. They have the young kid I like a lot. I know he hasn't got a ton of targets yet, but Ronnie Bell, the 7th rounder rookie, I like him a lot. Juwan Jennings has been getting some targets. So I think Deebo, they're going to have, regardless of how they use him, because he's too expensive, they can't cut him or trade him, with the 49er wise, but fantasy wise, like Jay was saying, I don't think he has any value anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously in a 16-man, but if he's a fill-in guy on your flex spot or something like that, but he's no longer the must start every week Deebo Samuel he was a couple years ago. So, but he's still got that name value, so you might be able to get somebody in your league to move off that. But yeah, definitely, Ayuk without question is their number 1. There's no question, and they're 1-1A. Yeah, Deebo's overrated. Let's just call it what it is, because McCaffrey took away his running. That was Deebo's thing, before they got McCaffrey last year. That was his thing was, okay, well, if Deebo isn't going to get a lot of catches that week, he's going to get you 40 rushing yards or, something to make it worthwhile. He doesn't do that anymore either. So
that's kind of like, they kind of limited when they got CMC in that situation. But it was kind of the news and notes and kind of the recap of the weekend. Now we'll get into our highlighted players of the weekend. I liked him. I have a few, and I have his gold star player of the week. So we'll get that going here in just a second. So if you're just tuning in,
purple marker out here.
So if you're just tuning in, welcome into Auto Rhythm Fantasy Sports. So we just recapped some of our weekend, some news and notes and stuff like that. And now we're actually going to jump into our highlighted players of the weekend. And after our highlighted players of the weekend,
for this.
Have you been waiting for this? We'll jump into our waiver. So the first player on my list is Amon Ra St. Brown, who literally tore up. Yeah, literally just tore up the Bucks defense. I was actually watching this game. I was hoping for the Bucks and their nice, retro Florida, cream throwbacks there, which is not the original colors to the old Buck creamsicles. So it's their creamsicle version of the kind of modernized unis, which I absolutely love. I think they need to go back and just wear these uniforms like all season long. It's actually better
But
than their new
they
crap.
play like they play like this, Jay. They play like this on offense. I don't ever want to see those creamsicles again. As much as I love them, that was atrocious. St. Brown, he took a four wheeler, ran over all 11 players on the defense, backed it up, and then did it again. This was awful. This was I mean, it wasn't like Denver, Miami bad, but I mean this was But St. Brown, he's a stud, absolute stud. Man, oh man, where do I start? This whole Lions offense. I mean, we can't hang. Yeah, like you were talking about Dallas, how they pulled out that squeaker against the Chargers. Well, Bucks have no business up against the big boys, the NFC. We can't hang with the Eagles, can't hang with the Niners, can't hang with the Lions.
Yeah, it's insane. I was hoping for the Bucks to actually come out and win a game because, and all in all, I think they had the better weapons, the better, they had the better offense going than the Lions. And don't get me wrong with Lions, they got Amon and Sam Laporta, Sam Laporta Potty, who didn't
Poor
really didn't do
Bush.
shit. So
You
I
might be
mean,
on the
overall,
Ghostin.
and maybe he might be in the ghost in this segment. I don't know, but stay tuned for that. But other than that, Amon actually had 34 fantasy points. That was out 91% of snaps. He had 15 targets, 12 receptions for 124 yards and a tutty. I mean, that was good for average of 10 yards per catch. But overall, I mean, Amon is actually the wide receiver 13 on the season, with 445 yards receiving. Actually, through week 6, he's actually seen 50 targets already, 50 targets through week 6, which is just plain insane. I mean, they got Jameson Williams kind of coming back, but he's averaging about eight targets per game. So and he's got he's got 3 touchdowns on this season already too. So I mean, his production is not bad for being a top 15 wide receiver. Um, I mean, if you got him on your if you got him on your teams, you're happy with him. I mean, he's 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 kind of like a not really a boomer bust, but he's kind of he was kind of injured this last weekend. So I mean, I was kind of surprised to actually see him do what he did this week against Tampa Bay. So I figured I thought it almost sounded like he was going to be out this week. So that's why I was like all over Tampa Bay maybe winning this game, but he ended up playing this week.
But you forgot that they didn't account for Jameson Williams, who somehow guy has 6 NFL catches, 3 of them are touchdowns. I mean, this guy.
I know, right?
Talk about efficiency. I mean, he don't mess around. It's a 50% touchdown rate. I love it. But him, Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is one of the most I talk about him every week on DFS. Like Josh Reynolds is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. Like Lions got studs. Khalif Raymond isn't even a terrible number 4. I mean, they got receivers for days with the Lions, man. But this guy, he's playing like a top 15 receiver, definitely.
I mean, only if DJ Shark was with the Lions, I mean, they'd probably be better off,
Right, yeah. No kidding.
But yeah, it kind of highlights him on. I mean, he's a PPR guy. I mean, he hogs a lot of targets. I mean, with 50 odd targets through week 6 already. I mean, by another 4 weeks, I mean, he's probably going to average 100 and some odd targets. I mean, that's going to be through 8 weeks? No, 10 weeks. Yep, 10 weeks through the season. So that's going to be almost 100 some odd targets. So I mean, he's on pace for. It looks like he'll be on pace for maybe 130 targets overall. So I mean, this guy is going to be a machine for the rest of the year. So I don't think you're going to be trading off him anytime soon, unless you're really hurting with with running backs. Maybe you get a 2-for-1 special for this guy. But I mean, other than that, you're probably holding on to him.
Well, maybe you try to trade for this next guy, Mr. Travis Etienne. Ooh.
Right?
Once you show,
Travis,
there we go. There he is. There he is. He's prowling like a jaguar. Rawr,
you know,
rawr.
this week I was trying, like, I'm gonna try to change it up a little bit and try to hit some guys that I haven't hit or kind of look into a little bit more. And Travis Etienne is one of them. 36 points. He was out in 80% of snaps, 18 attempts, only 55 yards. I mean, this was against the oh crap, who the heck did they play? I can't remember offhand now. Was it the Colts?
Yeah, it was the Colts. Yep.
Yep. I figured he would have had a little bit more, but he had 2 touchdowns, and three receptions for 28 yards. Actually, I mean, he's only had one 100-yard rushing attempt already, and that was against the Bills, which was a more of a harder defense. I would have figured, he would have had maybe 120 yards against the Colts, but and with the 2 touchdowns, but it kind of is what it is. I mean, the Colts are going to be the Colts are going to be the team you want to kind of play against because they don't have AR5 anymore, so they got Minshew, the guy from the 70s. But overall here, on the season, Travis Etienne is actually in the top 6 for rushing, which is 452 yards. He has 5 touchdowns on the season already. Excuse me, just a second. And then he's averaging 24 carries, and this was actually through 6 weeks of them playing. So he's getting the carries. So I mean that's almost good majority of the carries. So he's averaging maybe about 4 yards per carry. So I mean the guy that used to be James Robinson was actually booted out, and Travis was like, get out of my way, kid. Go see the bus stop, and like I'm the guy here. I'm the guy that's he's like
My show. I'm RB1.
yeah.
And Tank
Right.
Bigsby, ERB2.
Yeah, I mean Tank hasn't really been irrelevant, really. I mean, I haven't really like seen him being any highlighted, him running off for, big amounts of yards. I mean, it's Travis he's doing his thing. I mean, he showed why. I mean, he was out for his first rookie year, and he came to show why he was the real deal, why they drafted him. And you're happy. I mean, I think one or two. I think I only got one share of him, and I was like, and that's in your brother's league too. So I'm all like, seeing a touchdown, I'm like, yes, touchdown, yes. So I was all happy. I was all happy. So yep, I'm all gun hoing to win your brother's league finally after I don't know how many years now. I haven't won it, so this is the year that I'm gonna be like, you guys are going down. I mean, it's good company. I mean, that league's got
You gotta
some
go
good
through me though to get
company. Like old times, huh? I
it.
know,
Yeah.
right? At one time, this guy was
Who we
the
got? Who we got
master.
next?
Well, the next guy. I mean, he is just as good as Travis Etienne. I mean, he's way up, out west, where it gets really, really chilly. I think there's big old skyscraper or a big old
Better bundle up.
needle out there.
Get a
A needle
little,
out there. I mean,
get a little chilly.
I think it's Wash. I think he.
Chilly here.
I think he resigns in
Brr,
Washington. Is it Washington? Is it Washington? I think so. So our next guy is
brr.
actually Kenneth Walker. I haven't ever,
Cloudy up.
actually I haven't really talked about him much yet, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to, even though these guys haven't really like gone off for like 120 some odd yards, I kind of look at that a little bit. But it's like I'm gonna simmer down here a little bit and try to find the guys that maybe or got maybe 60 or 70 yards. It's so Kenneth Walker. He actually 20 fantasy points. He was out in 76% of snaps. 19 attempts. He rushed for 62 yards. He had a touchdown in this game. And then he had 3 targets, and 27 yards receiving. Um, Overall, Kenneth Walker is actually RB12 on the season. He's actually averaging 13 carries per game. He has six rushing yards, or not yards, six rushing yards on the season so far. Um, I know. What do you think of Kenneth Walker actually being our running back 12 on the season?
I think that's about where he's kind of should be slotted. Like the pre-draft, I think people were a little high. Like, he wasn't quite a top 5 fantasy back. He had obviously coming off that great rookie season, but he's top top 12. I mean, that's probably where people realistically thought, fantasy wise, like us, not the experts, I say loosely, where they thought he might. Yeah, I'm not shocked. I figured he'd do a lot of this, and then you'll get the occasional 110-yard tutty game, but there'll be a lot more of this where he blends in a few receptions for some yards, get you points there. Nothing special on the ground. What was he averaging? Like less than 4 yards a carry, but he got a tutty, he got 62 yards. If he can piece together 20-point fantasy weeks, that's just dandy. That's just perfect. I mean, however he has to do it. Not everybody has to be, a home run hitter and get 150 yards, because it doesn't make much. Touchdowns kind of negate a lot of this stuff, and receptions too. With PPR. So yeah, I think he's right where he should be.
Yeah, it's. I have to kind of agree with you. I mean, he's not. He can flash when he wants to. I mean, he can put up 120 some yards and maybe a touchdown in there, give or take. But he's kind of like your what you want to say, not your flashy player. I mean, he's kind of like your. Now I can't think of it. Your blue. He's kind of like your blue collar of running
Blue
backs.
collar running back.
You know,
Yep.
he comes in and gets his stuff done. It's not flashy, but he comes in and out. He does it. He flashes in a different way, and
Nick
and
Chubb.
this is yeah.
Nick
He's kind
Chubb.
of like
Very similar.
yep. Nick Chubb is kind of like an elite. He's kind of that. He's kind of more of that high class, blue collar guy. Kenneth Walker is kind of that middle tier blue collar guy. I mean, he'll get you what you need. He'll get you carries. He'll get you a touchdown here or there. He actually was averaging about 3.2 yards per carry. So I mean, he'll get her done. It's not flashy, but he will get her done in the end zone, with a little receiving work too as well. So I mean, I love the guy. I drafted him where I could too as well. So I have a few shares of him. I'm pretty happy with. I think there will be a huge game for him coming soon. We just don't know when, but yeah, it should be coming pretty soon, I would believe. Just cold.
I was gonna say if Denver was on the schedule, Chicago maybe.
Ooh, yeah. We can rack up maybe 200 yards rushing. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Let's give him a. No, it's
Mr. Walker. Mr.
no,
Walker.
it's more like this.
Go, 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 go.
Right? All right. Well, that kind of covers our
50
Kenneth
up
Walker.
here.
I know, right? That kind of covers our Kenneth Walker. I got one more guy here, and it's a QB. It's a QB. I mean, it's just one of those things. Tua Tagovailoa. This guy is actually he's impressive. He's out playing, Patrick Mahomes. He's out playing freaking Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. Oh yes, I just said he's out playing, Patrick Mahomes. Don't kill me now. Jesus Christ. Calm down, guys. Calm down. It's gonna be okay.
I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot. Don't hands
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Tua had 24.8 points this weekend. 31 attempts for 21 completions, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he's QB1 on the season. 1876. Sounds like we're going back to Old West here, So he's
Saddle up
he's
them horses.
We're going back to the old west where we had Tariq Hill who went off, and we had Jalen Waddle who was just out there, and you know. But I mean,
Both
Tua,
started. All these. Jesus Christ. This guy's going to win.
right?
I'll tell you what, Jay. This guy, he stays healthy because he did this last year, too. People forget, like, before he got hurt, like, all the concussions and stuff. Like, Dolphins' record was good. He was putting up MVP numbers. This guy stays healthy. He's winning that MVP.
Yeah,
You
I
heard it
mean,
here first out of rhythm. He stays healthy, at least 15 or 16 of the 17 games. Tua's winning this MVP.
yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, he's a gunslinger. I mean, he's got the weapons, but I heard through the grapevine that maybe, just maybe, Gronk wants to come play for Miami or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Let me
I'm
talk
like,
to you. Yeah.
yeah,
He's
right?
he's yeah, he was Gronk's been hanging out. He loves Florida now. He was with Tampa for a couple years. He loves his Florida address, and now just take a trip across the state, go over to Miami. They could use his help. They're not that good at tight end. They really aren't. That they don't have many. I mean, other than the defense, offensively they don't really have any weaknesses. But they could use an upgraded tight end. And you don't want if you don't want to break the bank and trade for Mark Andrews or some guy like that, I don't blame you. Go bring Gronk in. Gronk can still be a top 20 tight end. You think? Like if he were to,
Yeah, I mean,
let's say he signed week 8 and started playing week 10.
yeah, I mean, he could be in the top 15, weekly. I mean, with the way their passing game is, and him going right down the middle. I mean, hell, I mean, Gronk could have a touchdown or two every game, more than likely. I mean, with both, with the wide receivers that they got in the ends and trying to cover them and have Gronk at the same time. I mean, this offense would be freaking scary, man. I mean, I would be scared. I'll be running home with my tail between my legs, man. Come on. But I mean, Miami, Miami does. I mean, is not a bad team. I think if they get one more piece, I mean, they could probably they could probably take their division and beat the Bills. But I mean, I know the Bills kind of been struggling. The Bills have been struggling a little bit here and there. I mean, they won this last weekend, but barely. So I mean, it's Tua's just much better. It's just one of those things. With his outlook, I'd be holding on to him for sure. I wouldn't be trying to trade him, but that's just me though. Um, any other takes before we actually get to the Gold Star Player of the Week?
I do not. Honorable mention though, and we're going to talk about his replacement because he's likely going to be out this week. But Kyren Williams, you know what? I was not a fan. He had a lot of hype last year after the preseason. Oh, hey, there's this late round guy the Rams took. I remember you were telling me about Kyren. Didn't do much. He was hurt a lot of last year. Had a couple games towards the end of the year where he was decent, but it was more Cam Akers. And so, I didn't think anything of Kyren Williams coming into this year. He didn't even cross my radar. And then he goes and puts up 158-yard rushing game. So I would say if we did a fifth guy, like if you had done a fifth guy, maybe Kyren Williams could have been in this list because he had a damn good week before he got hurt.
Yeah, and Kyren Williams is. I mean, I know we were kind of talking about it. He kind of blossomed a little bit last year, a little bit. He kind of made a little bit of a name for himself, and then now it's, I know what. It was funny because I know you're like in your dynasty league. When we were a couple.
I needed the roster. I needed the roster spot. Yeah, I've done a couple. There, most of my stuff is pretty on point, but I make, like I'm human like everybody else. I'll make a dumb move every now and again, and I'll admit it. But I needed the roster spot. He wasn't doing anything. I'd say it was week 1. What I didn't think anything. I'm like, okay, I didn't know they were going to trade Cam Akers. So basically, I thought it'd be Cam Akers and then eventually work in Zach Evans, which is probably going to happen now, obviously with Zach Evans, but I thought it'd be a lot earlier in the season that he'd kind of be the backup maybe, and Kyren would be the third guy, but Ronnie Rivers somewhere in between there. But yeah, But now that looks like a ridiculous move because but if Kyron has if he's but this is the second year in a row he's been hurt. So it's like dynasty like redraft year to year, he's probably okay, but dynasty I don't know. I don't see him 5 years from now being Austin Eckler, being like a 6th, 7th year back that we're like, oh snap, like this guy's still great, or this guy's Derrick Henry, or one of those kind of guys. I don't see that, but yeah, definitely for this year at least. It was a dumb move.
Yeah, I probably would have, after he had his second game, I would have seen if somebody, I would have traded him off, got a draft pick, and be like, bon voyage, see you later. I got your draft pick. See you later, sucker. And but anyways, we should get into your get into your gold star player of the week, because we got some more guys to get to. We got waiver wire to get to, and we got some stuff we got to get done.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get on it. I'm gonna start rapid fire, baby. Bam, bam, bam. Put it in the chamber. All right. Gold star player of the week brought to you by Eli and Jamie. Drake London. You know what? He didn't score any touchdowns, but hell, he's been kept under check pretty much all year. But that goes for any of the Falcons, aerial. I mean, Desmond Ridder, I tried to give him a chance. I tried to talk him up on this show even. I like, hey, fantasy, go snag him. And then he was awful. He was absolutely dreadful against Washington, costing the game, kept turning the damn ball over. Yeah, that's the last time I ever give Desmond Ridder a chance. Get out of here. Where's my trash bin? Yeah. All right. 125 yards, 9 grabs on 12 targets. So he's, there'll be weeks like this. I mean, not every defense is going to be Washington, middle of the road and not very good. So, and we saw what Justin Fields did to him the previous week. So, he's not, I don't think it's him. I don't think Kyle Pitts. I don't think it's him. It's just an awful. They have an awful quarterback. Arthur Smith doesn't know how to throw the football. I mean, they're a running team. They're like a 1988 NFL offense. I mean, they're a running, and they got a couple studs, absolute studs at running back. But I mean, they don't know how to move the ball through the air with consistency. So Drake London popped this week. So maybe you could. And another thing too, and we've talked a lot of trades so far in the show. This is another guy you could, especially redraft year to year. Move off him. After he pops this week, move off him. I don't trust this Falcons passing game. I just don't. And, obviously if you're in Dynasty or Keeper, it's a little, he's too good to, especially Dynasty, he's too good to let go of. But, if you're redraft, I'd trade him right now. Right now. Get him on the block. Move off him. He's got some name value. What do you think about old Drake London?
Yeah, I think I have a share or two of him, and I haven't been really, really impressed because I figured this guy would be going off, but when you got a quarterback named Desmond Ridder kind of thrown to him, makes me a little sick in the stomach because it's there. There's nothing going on. I mean, I know Eli. I was like, yeah, go out.
What's going on in his head? Where is he throwing some of those balls?
Yeah, Eli was like, go out and get Desmond Ridder, and I'm like, no, stay away from this guy. Go toss this guy back in the sea.
Well, Josh Dobbs wasn't much better, and then Gardner Minshew, he plays like crap. So if you're looking at the, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel at quarterback, your best bet might be Zach Wilson, because at least Zach Wilson ain't turning the ball over. You know what I mean?
I
mean, he might get you like 7, might get you 10 points, but at least it's a consistent 10 points, I guess. I don't know.
I would actually trust Joshua Dobbs right now more than over Desmond Ridder, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, you scrape the bottom of the barrel with guys like that, and it's just we're trying to be a show that we open up venue. We spread out, we spread our arms out, we try to open them up, we try to hug these guys, and they just just slap us right back. Like, no, push us away. No, we don't want you. But that being said, fail. But there's nothing failing about my next guy. This is my riser of the week. Once again, sponsored by Eli and Jamie. Michael Mayer, he was a high pick, but there was a lot of those in this year's draft with the tight ends. Like I've been saying it for months now. This is the greatest tight end draft in the history of the NFL, hands down. I mean, we're just getting to this guy now. I mean, it's taken 6 weeks to even mention his name, and he was drafted ahead of Laporta, or right in that same Laporta and Musgrave, Kincaid. I know Kincaid's had some injury issues with Buffalo, but he's been, when he's been out there, he's been good. So it's whew. So the reason we didn't get to him week 1 through 4, the guy only had 1 target and 1 catch for 2 yards, was non-existent, which makes me think that he was learning the offense, or maybe he was banged up. Because Michael Mayer, he was projected as a first-round guy, went early second round. So this guy, he All-America tight end. This guy had the goods. Not quite as good as like Brock Bowers from Georgia this year, but he was a little bit beneath that. This guy was projected to be a first-round tight end last year. So he's got the size. He's 6'4", 265. Got good hands, runs good routes. The guy's total package, blocks. He does everything. But the last couple weeks, Jamie's not as high. I'll preface it that Jamie's not as high on this guy, but week 5, 3 targets. So he had a couple grabs, 39 yards, which means he's going. That's the whole segment. I don't have to love these guys to, Pierre Strong, we talked about last week. He didn't do anything in week 6, but they're heading like this way. And so I'm going to talk about it. So week 1 through 4, nothing. Week 5, a little bit better. Week 6, 5 grabs, 75 yards. Now you've got people's attention. Now you're starting to, okay, he's working into the offense a little bit. And who are they playing this week, Jay? The Chicago Bears. That's what. Yeah, Bears can't stop a nosebleed. So I think that this guy is gonna say Pierre Strong let me down because his stock was rising, and then you're right there. So I think Mayer can have a 4-catch, 50-yard kind of game, which is decent. That's 9 points. If you're in desperate, and there's bye weeks coming, if you need a tight end guy, you need a DFS guy, Michael Mayer could fit that role, especially with bye weeks coming up. He's not top 12 fantasy tight end. What? Not a top 12 fantasy tight end or anything, but we got bye weeks coming up. Stick him in there.
Yeah, I know. It seemed like you were kind of drawing me into him a little bit. Earlier I said it was kind of off.
I tried to talk about.
If you need a guy, he's not a bad option, especially with them playing, the Bears, and especially if we're getting into those deeper leagues and stuff like that. I think I dropped him in the league because I'm just like, he wasn't doing anything. I needed to find somebody better, and I don't know. I think I have to go back and look at the millions of leagues I'm in and see if I still have them somewhere. I don't know. Hopefully I might have them somewhere, but it's a big
dig through the storage. Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Team 14.
Yep.
What?
But
What?
But so
okay.
So this was our highlighted players of the week, and some Eli's Gold Star players and his risers of the week. And now it's time to actually get over to our other segment. It's time to actually hit those those waiver time, baby. So we got Eli's.
I'm gonna be like Coach Prime. Play my darn theme music.
Right?
It's gonna be our
Oh.
All right. As usual, I'm gonna start off first, and then Jay's gonna get into his 10 and 12 man and 16 man. And then so the way I do it is I'll pick up the Yahoo side of it. And so this is strictly on the Yahoo fantasy side, and I keep the guys under 20% because we want guys that are like universally available. Obviously there's studs out there you could grab that are more more productive, have bigger names, and or have been going off the last few weeks. But realistically, no matter what size league you're in, 10, 12, 16, 20, these guys should all pretty much be available, or at least you can bid for them. And, and it's waiver Tuesday. So if you're going to get a bid in, or you're going to try to look for one of them, tonight's the night to do it. So that's why you're watching this stream. Number one, I put Jordan Mason. I don't think CMC is going to play Monday night. I think they're going to hold him out. I don't think they need CMC to beat the Vikings. They're a decent 2-4, but they're nothing great. I think the Browns were actually underrated. Browns got an all-time defense. I mean, they're fantastic, defensively. So, but I don't think the Vikings are as good as the Browns. So I think the 49ers will be fine. I think the thinking, hey, let's hold CMC out a week and then go from there. I think the Niners might have a bye week 8, but I'd have to double check that. But Jordan Mason, only 7% rostered, had a touchdown last week against the Browns. It'd be interesting to see what he does with full workload. Like if it's him and Elijah Mitchell, I would assume that Mason will be the feature back over Mitchell from what I've been reading. So I think he's worth kicking the tires on, because we saw all these 49er running backs throughout the years, whether it was Jeff Wilson, Mostert before he started tearing it up with the Dolphins. Mostert was with the 49ers for years. Elijah Mitchell, his backup now. I mean, these guys have all at various points taken advantage of that San Francisco offense and got a bunch of fantasy points, getting that RB1 spot. So Mason, I put at number 1. Number 2, Michael Mayer, only 5% rostered. And with bye weeks coming up, if you're a little lean at tight end, he's worth a pickup, even as a backup. Stash him on the bench, and if you got to throw him in for a week, I think after last week kind of opened a few people's eyes. I know the Patriots aren't great or anything, but if he plays another bad team, I wouldn't think twice about sticking him in there. For a bye week. Obviously, he's not, in my opinion, not a top 12 fantasy tight end, so he's not an every week starter in your typical 12-man league. But worth the roster spot, definitely. Number 3, this was debatable. Now, I just found out about the David Montgomery. Like, David Montgomery is going to be out indefinitely, which means more likely a couple weeks. If it's anything longer than that, they would have put him on IR, or it would have been bigger news. I think Montgomery is going to be out for a couple weeks. Jahmyr Gibbs is questionable for Sunday. So I was thinking about putting Craig Reynolds from the Lions in at number 3, which he could have very well went at number 3. Craig Reynolds should be under 20% as well. So he's another guy, if you want to, kind of my honorable mention. Craig Reynolds from the Lions would be another guy to go snag at running back. But I put Latavius Murray because it just seems like he's getting more looks. And the Bills, I don't know. I just think as the season goes on, just in case something happens to James Cook, Latavius Murray, this guy's ageless. Okay, he's somehow still in the league, and he not a starter or anything, not even a flex guy, but definitely a bench guy, and have him in reserve because he can still come in on. We saw it with Melvin Gordon. I mean, James Robinson got signed by the Packers. There's still a lot of these veteran backs that, in a pinch can come in and maybe get you some points. So Latavius Murray is the best of that bunch, in my opinion. So stick him on the bench. Number 4, Zach Evans. He's behind Murray and Mason only because I don't know 100% for sure if Kyren Williams is going to be out or not. Now, Kyren is probably doubtful, questionable in that vein, but it's not out for sure. So Kyren could play. Ronnie Rivers is going to be out till like end of November. So, I mean, he's going to be out till Thanksgiving. So Ronnie Rivers out of the question. So Zach Evans is worth a pickup just for the fact that he's going to be the backup, at least the backup of the Rams now. And I know Jay was saying that who'd they sign again?
Royce to the Freeman.
Yeah, Royce Freeman. So they're bringing a couple guys in to try to compete for some playing time. But definitely Zach Evans is worth a look. And he's only 4% rostered. And at this stage, running backs, especially on your bench, your starters better be pretty, at least decent. Otherwise, you're in more trouble than we think. But your bench can always use a running back like Zach Evans or Jordan Mason at this time of the year for sure. And number 5, a little surprising, but Wan'Dale Robinson. To me, he's kind of morphed into the Giants' offense is terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome. But Wan'Dale Robinson, is to me, he's the number. Yeah, here come the you're insensitive, Eli, or whatever the mob with their pitchforks are gonna come after me now. Wan'Dale Robinson is a number one guy, like for the Giants right now. Jay might debate that. He might think Slayton. He might think, well, maybe Hyatt will come on. I've been waiting for Hyatt too, and right now it's just not going to happen this year. Maybe next year. And with Daniel Jones probably being out again with that neck injury, it'll probably be more Tyrod Taylor. So maybe of all the people, maybe Waller and Wan'Dale have a rapport with Tyrod, and as long as Tyrod's in there, maybe Wan'Dale's the number one guy. So, but I like the game. The game he had against Buffalo, and it'd be interesting to see what he does going forward. But only 18% rostered, and if you need some help on the bench with a receiver, he's the guy. And those are my Fab Five pickups. Fab Five.
When I think of the Giants, I kind of think of
Just a good old boy.
yeah, I just see them just flying right off the cliff. That's what I see. This is how I see the Giants offense.
Brian Dable's behind the wheel. Bo and Luke. Dable and Daniel Jones.
They're nowhere to be found. That's how I see it. This is how I see the Giants offense. I think Robinson will be kind of the main guy actually, because he had good majority of the targets there.
Here we go.
I think he had about 8 targets, and he caught all of them. He caught he caught all of his targets on 8 receptions. So Slayton, on the other hand, he was kind of tossed a little bit along, on some of the long bombs. I've seen a little bit, few missed catches here and there. So I think it's kind of Slayton's kind of a number. I think he's kind of bumped down to number 2 guy. I mean, I wish Hyatt would do something, but that's not even gonna be a question. The Murray thing, him and both those guys were out almost 50-50. 49% each on both these guys. So I mean, it's almost a 50-50 share with both these running backs. Zach Evans, he was actually out. I was actually trying to look at snap percentages and stuff like that, but when the heck was it? I think Rondale was out there a little bit more. About 60% of them. Slayton was out actually on 87% of them. So 80%. So Rondale was a little bit more productive than Slayton. Hyatt was out there too. I think he was out there, and he was out there too in 73% of snaps. So I mean, Rondale, with him not being out there, I mean, he was the go-to guy. I mean, especially with Taylor actually running around, scrambling around like that. Well, yeah, Rondale was just that short toss guy, and so I mean, that's why Rondale was actually getting the work in. And then I was actually gonna check out that see how many snaps so Evans was actually out in only 11% of the snaps, but that should actually rise if Williams and Ronnie Rivers are not going to be there. So Zach Evans is more likely he's actually going to probably be their lead guy going in this weekend. So yeah, I think I got Evans in some of my stuff too as well. Oh, there it is. So we'll swap on over here quick to the sleeper side of stuff here real quick.
Here we go.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Jordan Mason. I was actually going to look at Jordan Mason. I was actually looking at, so he was actually out there a little bit more than actually Elijah Mitchell. So it's very possible Jordan Mason could get the work in. He's kind of that short, explosive guy. So Mason could probably get the work in over Elijah Mitchell. So it could be. It might go 50-50 of both these guys because you don't know which direction they're going to go. So, I mean, it could be either one of these guys. Mason's only 3% rostered. Jordan Smith, I know he's 23% rostered. If he's still out there, I would go. If you actually need a tight end, I'd go out. I actually picked him up. The funny, crazy thing is right before the game started, I'm like, drop this guy, snagged up Jonathan Smith. He had a touchdown. So I went out, picked him up in the waiver wire, like
that was a great move on your part. This is the only guy in the Falcons passing attack getting anything. Is Jonnu Smith. Go figure.
You're right. I know David Njoku, 59% rostered. He's a little bit high for what I usually kind of do, what I kind of anticipate, but it's very possible that he could be out there in some of these leagues. Somebody might have got frustrated, dropped him. I mean, he's still a talented tight end, and I mean, I think he had a touchdown this weekend too as well. So I mean, he's still liable to their offense. It's just they have so many pieces in there. They don't know which direction they're going. They don't have They don't have their main QB to get shit rolling. So I mean, they had freaking what the heck? Who is his name? I can't remember who they had for oh, PJ Walker. They have PJ Walker this weekend. So I mean, the Njoku was kind of getting some of the. I mean, as it's like, oh, PJ Walker. I'm like, this is insane, but I mean, he's seen some receptions. I mean, it's if PJ Walker is going to be in there for another week, Njoku's going to see some catches. That's he's going to reap the benefits there. Zach Evans, I know we just talked about him. He's going to be the leading guy with the Rams this week. 4% rostered. I know. Before we get too far, I know a lot of us, with the binado of 6 teams offhand. I mean, we got Carolina, we got Cincinnati, we got Dallas, we have Houston, we have the Jets, and we got the Tennessee Titans off. So I mean, 6 teams, 6 freaking teams. So I mean, you're gonna be missing guys like Bryce Young, Thielen, Sanders, Burrow, Chase Higgins. I mean, Prescott, Lamb, C.J. Stroud, Neo Collins, Damian Pierce, Winston and Hall, Henry and Spears, Hopkins maybe, but you have to replace all these guys this week. I mean, that's a lot of guys, that are main hitters for a lot of our
Ben,
lot.
6 bye teams. Pay attention. Wake up, class in session. Wake up.
But I mean, overall, I mean, I was trying to debate on Ritter. I didn't really want to put Ritter in this 10 to 12 man leagues. I think Joshua Dobbs is a little bit more valuable. I mean, he's got the rushing upside a little bit over Ritter. I just like Kenny Pickett a little bit. I mean, Kenny Pickett might be down just a little bit, but Kenny Pickett's actually at the Rams. It might be an uphill battle, but I like the Kenny, I like the Pickett to Pickens combination, man. And I think they're going to score a touchdown in there. So it's, that's just me. I like the fact that Pickens is going to go out there and do something. And they're coming off a bye. So, I mean, hopefully maybe they got their shit together and they actually come out and beat the Rams, who are pretty much high flyers right now. But I'd rather have Pickens over Ritter myself. I mean, earlier in the show, I already said why I don't like Ritter, but these are some of the other guys. A couple other mentions too here, quick. If you need another tight end, say if you don't like, if the Njoku's not out there, go out there and get Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer, yeah, the slasher killer, Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
No.
Die.
Maybe he needs to dress up like that. Maybe he'll get some more touchdowns that way. I mean, dress up as Michael Myers and everybody will scat off his way. And then Craig Reynolds. Go and snag him up too as well. I mean, I know I was going to think about picking him up here, but if Montgomery's not playing and Gibbs, I know I have shares of Gibbs, but I'm frustrated with Gibbs, because I don't know if he's actually playing or if he's going to be limited now or what. So Craig Reynolds will be kind of a guy kind of in there to kind of mess everything up. So go out and get some, I don't know what his percentage is. I didn't write that down, but go out and get some Reynolds. So those are my 10 to 12 man leagues, or guys to pick up in 10 to 12 man leagues. And we'll swap on over here quick to my deep 6 players. It gets to be a little more skittish too, especially when you're.
1 second, just to close up the Craig Reynolds. Yahoo, he's only 2% rostered. So if you guys want, he's available in any size league. He should be available on Sleeper or any other ESPN, CBS, wherever the hell you play. So yeah, go snag him tonight, because I'm telling you what, he's a big time sleeper for this week 7 coming up.
Yes. So man, this was actually really hard for me, because I was actually really scouring. I picked up another league. Some guy asked me, like, hey, do you want to, join this 14-man keeper league? I know I use a different alias, so I didn't want this league to hurt my reputation with my main stuff. So, I'm kind of in another league too as well. And
going undercover.
yeah. it's when you get to these deeper leagues, it's really hard, and it gets to be really skim pickings. Because I mean, if you're not nailing a lot of these, high end guys early in your drafts, you're gonna be screwed. Especially, you're gonna be screwed because I mean, you're gonna be looking scouring the waiver wire, and like, God, who do I look at next? I mean, that's why you're gonna be going out to get a Zach Evans. You're gonna be going out and get a Craig Reynolds for this week, and find another guy who's gonna pop the next week. It's I mean, I have Ritter on this. It makes me sick to my stomach. I got Pickens there. I mean, he's out there, but I mean, it's I know he's laughing at me.
See, he does Ritter. He does this to people. He tricks you. He's like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm available. Hey, look at my stats. Got a couple 26 plus fantasy games. I'm capable. Come talk to me. Hey,
Yeah.
Jamie." He did it again. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other guy is Minshew. Minshew is gonna be the guy for the rest of the year. I mean, with AR5, it's Minshew is he's not that sexy QB that everybody wants, but he's a gunslinger. I mean, he's gonna go out there and just play guns out. I mean, he's gonna be in the wild west, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna be that that bank robber against the police guy, and he's just gonna
He
be
looks like one. He looks like Wyatt Earp.
So he's like, he's gonna be like, Josh Downs, you're gonna get some balls. Pittman, you're gonna get some balls. So I mean, it's gonna be kind of like free for all. And in this situation with Minshew, I like the fact that Josh Downs will get an uprise. I mean, we mentioned Josh Downs already. And there's also speculations too that Jerry Jeudy is maybe could be traded to the Colts as well. I mean, that's a speculation.
I heard that. I'll follow up quick on that, Jay. Judy to Indy's been rumored, and then Alec Pierce is hurt, so he's going to be out a little bit. So, and that he's kind of been their number 3 or number 4 guy, so that should help. That definitely help Downs, and Pittman's going to do his normal thing, but Josh Downs, his value is just going upwards. So, if you don't have your hands on Josh Downs yet, I think he went over the 20% mark, which is why I didn't put him on. Or he's he's starting to rise in Yahoo, so I didn't put him on my list this week. But yeah, Josh Downs definitely. This is a side note with Minshew, but
Luke Musgrave, 23% roster. Just over a little bit of that 20% roster, but I mean, I tried to kind of give or take just a little bit on on production and whatnot, because 16 teams gets to be a little bit more skimp, so you might have to go look at a higher guy that's rush, a little bit higher percentage. And Luke Musgrave is one of those guys. I mean, he's looking good. I mean, he's getting 3 targets per game, which is not bad for a tight end, especially in that that Packers offense. I mean, with Love scrambling for his life and not knowing what he's doing. I mean, Musgrave's he's gonna be there for get those receptions in there. He's gonna be his little love shield. So it's just like I'm here. I'm here.
Machine.
I'm here. Give me the damn ball. But yeah, if you need a tight end,
that's what I want to buy. I want to get on Amazon. I want to buy me a love shield.
You should do that next time we talk about Musgrave. Put up that my love shield.
Yep.
And then we got even though our boy Tyler, Trey Palmer is getting his ass whooped by Tompkins. It's not fair. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that Devian Tompkins is outplaying our boy. This game. Mayfield, Palmer was open. He just overthrew him a couple times. I'm like, I was so excited. I was hoping to have Palmer a touchdown in this game, because I would have been all over it, white like rice, but whatever.
Baker against bad team. Good. Baker against good team. Bad. That's pretty much how you set. That's pretty much how you need to do. That's pretty much how you need to go about grabbing these Bucs receivers, because you can grab Palmer and Tompkins in just about any size league. They're both well under 20% in Sleeper and Yahoo for sure. So, but yeah, that's how you need to judge the Bucs receivers that week. Basically, did Evans or or Godwin get hurt possibly, and who's Baker playing?
Right.
He was awful.
Yep. They're actually playing They're actually playing the Falcons this week. So maybe there's a good chance that our boy Palmer could get a touchdown, but we'll have to see about that one. But anyways, you know what they should do is bring back one more week with those creamsicles. Give them some Palmer a touchdown over the
Redo. Yep.
Falcons. Yep. Kind of just wash this out and yep. Last but not least, we have Brandon Powell, who's 7% rostered. He's actually had 4 targets this last weekend. He was out in 60% of the snaps. So if you're in deeper leagues, Brandon Powell is a guy to look at. With more than likely Jefferson might be shut down for the season. Brandon Powell will probably be that next guy in this offense. And with Hockenson not really doing much, kind of skimping off there a little bit. I mean, Addison is kind of your guy. I mean, Brandon Powell will be kind of your wide receiver 3 in this poor Vikings offense.
Yeah, if you got Jordan Jay, if these guys had gotten Jordan Addison, drafted him or whatever, he's too high of a pick to have been a free agent. I'm assuming in most people's drafts. So he was probably drafted. You got a home run because Addison, not quite. No, not JJ or I mean JJ is 1A in the league. I mean probably the first or second best receiver in the whole league. So you're not going to just replace him, but Addison's been damn good. I think he's been a damn good fill-in. Osborne, he is what he is. I gave him a chance to, and we'll have to see. Maybe a couple weeks, maybe KJ does a little more, but he might just be slotted in where he's at. Just a solid, good number 3, and number 2, you're starting to push it. If you're throwing him in your starting lineup, just hoping. I mean, during a bye week, you could probably, I don't know about the 49ers. I mean, this is a bad matchup this week, but going forward, especially if they play the Bears again. They got a terrible defense. So, see what Osborne can do. But, definitely been impressed with Jordan Addison. And
that's for sure.
Powell's what? Probably their number 3, number 4?
He probably be he'd be their number 3 guy. I mean, y'all probably have, Addison, maybe Hockenson up in there. I mean, if Madison, maybe Madison gets a little bit up in there, so KJ will be their number 2 guy for sure, or 3. So Powell, 3, 4-ish, somewhere in there, so I mean, just a long shot in the dart, with 4 targets. I mean, it's not bad, especially with this Viking offense. I mean, honestly, I think he's the only other guy.
Got a good offense. That Kirk is very capable of putting up 350, in very, pretty various weeks. So yeah, it's not, especially in a 16-man, 20-man. If you need to stash some people on your bench, there's a lot worse options than Brandon Powell for sure.
Yep, there is. But and then we got Michael Myers and Craig Reynolds, just to recap some of those guys too as well. Michael Myers. No, but it's Mayers. It almost makes me think of those that Mayer Trucking Company up in North Dakota with their big old longhorn.
Yeah.
But
we need to get we're talking. We either need to get like one of the sound effects from the movie, or we need to get like a horn or something when we talk about Michael Mayer. We got to get him like his own sound effect.
But yeah, he had 7 targets against the Raiders. He had 7. I'm an idiot. But yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, he was at he had 7 targets at the Raiders. I'm like, no, that's not right. But yeah, he had 7 targets against his last opponent, so I mean, it's not bad. But yeah, I think that recaps everything. Yeah, I hope you guys get a little something out of our waiver wire. Those were, especially with Yahoo, Elis Fab 5, and my top 6 for 10 to 12-man leagues, and deep sleepers as well for those 16-man leagues. And
deep. Going all the way deep. And you know what? We gave you some waivers in your leagues, and now if you want to make a little coin, get that. Can I get that? Can I get my darn theme music? Can I get my money sound effect? I'm gonna pull that up quick. Money. All right. So these are my DFS bins. I usually just there we go, hit it again. I usually just do the classic 9-man. I mean, there's a bunch of different options over on DraftKings, and usually, like with my waivers, I keep everything under 20%. With the bargains on DFS, I keep everything under 5,500, so that we're trying to help you build a team so that you can afford a Jamar Chase, you can afford a Patrick Mahomes. I knew you guys would still be yapping. Yeah, you damn right, Donovan. We're still here. We're still. I got the stamina, and so does he. All right, we're going 100. What? Hour 20 deep already. Bam.
Yep.
Still at it. I was going to say, we're trying to construct a team to help you win. So we find some low price guys so you can get Mahomes, so you can get Jamar Chase, so you can, get Kelsey. You can afford these guys because we help you build the cheap guys. And that's how it's constructed. Kendrick Bourne is my number one DFS player of the week. Guy, he's been, New England's awful and their offense is awful, but he's been one of the bright spots. He's actually playing pretty damn good. That's right, Jay. Yeah, get into that, baby. There we go. Kendrick Bourne, my number one, only 4,400 steal, absolute steal. If he can get you, he's been averaging what, four grabs, 60 yards. That's solid. If he can get a tutty in there, hell, that's worth a day's salt. Jordan Mason, I put number 2. I'm leaning towards CMC's not playing, and I think that Mason's going to run all over this Minnesota defense. So 5,300. You probably could do a little bit cheaper. Craig Reynolds from the Lions. We've been talking him up all night. Should have included him in my Fab 5. Should have included him here. But Craig Reynolds from the Lions is an honorable mention in this spot. He's in like the 4,000 range, 4,500, something like that. Craig Reynolds is cheap. You can probably put him in that spot as well. Michael Mayer, another guy we've been talking about all night, 2,700. He's dirt cheap. He's on the way bottom end of the tight ends. And they're playing the Bears. I love this. This is a home run. You throw him in there, you're going to thank me. Number 4, Romeo Doubs. He's got 3 touchdowns. 5 games, 3 touchdowns. That's not bad. He's not lighting the world on fire. He's not Tyreek or anything. He's not putting up 150-yard games every week. But so here and there, he'll get a 5-catch, 70-yard touchdown game every now and again. And hell, it might be this week. That might be what is on the menu. And number 5, because I got to put a quarterback in here. I didn't want to put any quarterbacks in the Fab 5 waivers because they were trash. We talked about Ritter and Dobbs and Minshew and all these clowns. Didn't have a quarterback I wanted to throw in there. But I got to put one in. You know what? Derek Carr, Jaguars actually have the worst pass defense in the league, if you'd believe it. People, it's Denver. Oh, it's Chicago. Oh, it's Washington. It's one of these awful teams. No, the Jags got the worst pass defense in the league. So Derek Carr, at the very least, should be able to get, maybe 300 yards and a touchdown. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, I mean, that'd be a solid fantasy output. But, if you're looking for a cheaper quarterback, Derek Carr might be the guy this week. And that is my DFS bargain 5, cash money. Yeah.
I was just going to say here that Bourne has actually been targeted about getting targeted about 7 times per game. So I mean, so that's not bad at all. And I was actually going to try to figure out Dobbs here quick too, because I mean, I know you're talking about Dobbs here. I mean, he's been he's kind of been here and there too as well, and with him being on bye, I mean, he's with 5 weeks
for 4,900. For 4,900, it's worth the shot. Basically, it's like a 50-50 proposition. He's either going to shit the bed, have 1 catch, 15 yards, or, get you 6 grabs, 89 yards, and a tutty, and then you're like, wow, I just won, X amount of dollars that whatever you put in. So I think Dobbs is on that teetering, with that price point. I think he's a good buy this week.
Yeah. I mean, with averaging about 5 targets per game, it's not bad at all. I mean, with he can be explosive too. I mean, he can take them into the house too. I mean, he's got explosiveness. I mean, we've seen that last year already. I mean, it's Dobbs came in and actually kind of did a little bit, and you're like, what? Where in the hell did this guy come from? So I mean, with Christian Kirk, with Watson, and then Dobbs is kind of being that 1-2 combination. It's kind of like, holy crap, dude. But I mean, yeah, Dobbs is not a bad play. Carr, I don't know. I would maybe I maybe would do. I would actually maybe do Dobbs because they're actually at Seattle. That could be a good game. Pickett's at Pickett's at the Rams, so that would be kind of a wash game. But Ritter's at Tampa Bay. Maybe Ritter in this. I mean, take a long shot. Maybe Ritter being a little bit cheaper. I mean, with Tampa Bay maybe being a fluke, maybe Ritter could have a couple decent games. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you can hear the disdain in his voice. I had to put a quarterback. I didn't want to. Had to put a quarterback in the 5 just to blend it up nicely. But yeah, Derek Carr. Most weeks he's trash.
All right.
We got one more segment. You have anything you
Couple
want to
more.
review before I speak now, or forever hold your peace? You have anything you want to review before I get into Mr. Malik Nabers?
No, we got one more segment to do. We got 2 more segments actually.
Yeah, he's right. He's right.
Yeah. But this one won't take too long. This will be a couple seconds, and we'll be like, "Yeah, this was a wash." So last week we had that lousy Dak Prescott, Justin Jefferson. We had that Daniel Jones through the Mac Jones through that Michael Wilson. So this upcoming week, this week was just horrible as well. But let's do the
It's
honors.
spooky in here.
Our week 6 guys who shit the bed. We have Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Hopkins, Baker Mayfield. Wait, I see a Mac Jones. What the hell? We have a Mac Jones up in here.
It's a record. What, fourth time?
Oh, we have Miyakari
Amari Demercado.
Yeah, we'll
Demercado.
say that.
He doesn't need a name because he was awful. He was atrocious.
Yep.
I'd rather have Keontae Ingram. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Yep. So, but Jerry Jeudy, kind of a downfall there. 5 targets, 1 reception for 20 yards. This is very, very despicable. I drafted Jerry Jeudy in most of my leagues, hoping that he'd be the number 1 guy there. It's hopefully maybe he can go somewhere else, get all this horrible.
Jay, they're shipping him. There's a better chance. I think he's the number 1 guy. If you want to bet some money on somebody being traded, this is the guy. I guarantee I will. Yeah, whatever you want to put down, this man will be traded. That stat line there, one for 5 targets, 20 yards. That's not all on Russ. That's like, hey, I don't want to be here. Trade me.
Right. And then we have DeAndre Hopkins. He had 5 targets, 1 catch for 11 yards. That's it. 1 catch. 11.
He came back. DeAndre came back to earth. I mean, we talked about his resurgence and how the old man's getting it done. Now this is starting to look like the stat line I thought he would. Kind of like Julio Jones, just kind of at the end of his rope. A lot of these games is what I suspected from DeAndre. So there might be more of these coming.
With them being a bye, hopefully they can maybe get Traylon Burks back, get their shit together.
The Titans are in trouble.
Chip out Tannehill and get that Levis guy up in here and maybe boom this offense a little bit more. I mean, they might make it the playoffs, but yeah. And then we have Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had 7 points this weekend. I was not happy. I'm like, 7 fantasy points against the Lions offense. Lions defense, I should say.
Trash.
It's like, what?
Trash.
19 completions, 37 attempts for 206 yards and an interception. Hell, I would have thought them in the 4th quarter at least could have gotten like a touchdown up in there or whatever, at least to make it at least reasonable with their kick-ass uniforms they had going on. But I guess not. They didn't really care too much about all that. And Mac Jones, man. I'm like, well, get this guy up out. Get him out of there. This Patriots offense is sad, and more sad.
Except for Kendrick Bourne. Everybody else is trash.
Hell, I would have thought the Booty Monster would have been involved, but I mean, I guess not. But
he's out too. He's hurt. He's hurt too.
Ah,
Booty's out. I love the booty. The booty's out.
that hurts my feelings. God damn it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's your boy.
but anyway, Mac Jones, 24 completions on 34 or 33 attempts for 206 yards and interception. They had Malachi Cunningham in just in case anything had happened. They had the other QB. I think he was out for the week too as well. So that kind of hurts. And then we just mentioned Imare, two attempts, 11 yards. Pretty much anybody who pretty much went out and spent most of their fab on this guy is probably beating themselves, kicking themselves in the foot because it's like this guy just got overlooked now. I mean, this guy is pretty much going back to the waiver wire where he belongs, and we thought maybe this guy was gonna be the guy, but he got
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're 6-0, 2-4, 4-2, whatever, 0-6, whatever. Like, I don't blame anybody because we do it too. If you kick the tires on one of these kind of running backs, sometimes it's boom, a lot of times it's bust. So I don't blame you guys. We did it too, but Mr. DiMercado, he needs to go back on the waiver wire. You belong. Get out of here.
Yep.
All
So that was our week 6 guys who shit the bed. So stay tuned for week 7.
That's my bed. There ain't no shit on that bed.
So now for the finale of our show, if you made it this far, if you stayed tuned for all, stayed in tune with all the horse crap we've been talking about the last hour and a half, you finally made it to the college spotlight.
It took a while. It took an hour 31. Yes, you survived. You made it. You made it to the end. And now here's your prize. No, I don't have anybody here. I don't have a Vanna White here to show. But your prize is Malik Nabers. Yes. And I would say his NFL comp is Chris Godwin. Physical, deep threat, can play over can do slot work. Similar size. Godwin's 6'1", 209. Malik Nabers is 6 foot even, 201. So yeah, similar size, similar skill set. Both run very similar 40s. So that would be my comp. And Jay's going to get into what he thinks on Nabers in a second. He's got his own graphic, but I'll just talk quick. PFF has him ranked number 14. So he's the number 14 overall prospect. Number 2 receiver behind Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. Right now, if you were going to look at a mock draft, they have him going somewhere between like 13 and 17, which is, makes sense. The second or third receiver off the board. Bengals is one of the teams. He might end up replacing T. Higgins. Donovan's so a bust, then I'll show you a bust, big boy. These are numbers last year, had over 1,000 yards receiving, only 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, nothing special, but they look at the physicality, like what's going to translate to the NFL. He didn't have, but how many yards did Quentin Johnston have? And Quentin Johnston so far through week 6 has been a bust. So, just because these guys have 1,000,000, 1,500, 1,700 yard receiving years in college doesn't mean they're going to pan out and blow up in the NFL. So, his stat line from last year was very pedestrian, but this year he's really stepped it up. And LSU has only played 7 games. So, 52 grabs so far, almost 900 yards receiving, 7 tutties, 16 and a half yards per catch on average. So he's everything on his freshman year. I didn't put that up there, but that was nothing to talk about either. It was like 300 or 400 yards receiving. So every year he's been going up, and I think he's going to definitely come out after his junior year. That's why he's here. That's why he's on this list, because he's going to enter the draft. Guy's only 20 years old. Like some of these other guys we've been talking about, young, plenty of room to grow. If he does end up in Cincy and replaces T. Higgins, I think that'd be a good landing spot. Team him up with Chase. Get a couple LSU boys out there. I like that a lot, actually. He's played good. He tore up Mississippi State. Like, this isn't like we talked about Audric Estimine last week. How about about how he struggled against the big boys. You know, he had trouble against Duke, he had trouble against Louisville. You know, big 20, top 25 kind of teams. But against these SEC teams, that's when Malik Nabers seems to show out the most. You know, he's playing well, whether it's Alabama or it's Missouri or any of these teams. So I've been impressed with that because a lot of these, Kool-Aid, the kid from Alabama, he had a good game against him last year when Kool-Aid was covering him. So I just think he's going to translate to the NFL, and I think a good comp, if you're going to draft him next year in Dynasty, year to year, redraft. Probably he'll develop into like a Chris Godwin is what I'm thinking. Somewhere in that like yearly, you can expect 1,000 to 1,150 for yards. A really good receiver. I don't think he's going to be great or anything, but a really good receiver, like probably a really good number 2. I mean, I think that'd be lethal if him and Chase were with Burrow and Cincy. Look out.
Ooh, yeah, that's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah, I was doing some digging too as well, and I was actually looking at, LSU was actually their offense is actually producing about 338 yards per game. So that's almost nearly like 350, 400 yards per game, and their offense is cooking with that, Jaden Daniels down there, and then they got Malachi, Nabers, who's just rolling in. He's like, just throw me the dimes, baby. Just give me that rock, just like, hey, just give me that ball, he's just catching everything and anything. I mean, he's got that spidey glue on his gloves, so he's just rocking it. I was looking at somewhere else, but they had him at 6'1", but you had him at 6'0", 188 pounds, but I don't know, each site might be a little bit different.
They sometimes like height. I noticed that with high school, like they'll usually give a guy an inch because in cleats you're an inch taller than what you are. So, but the NFL, they measure these guys flat foot. They're like a piece of meat, like you throw chicken on a scale. So, and I think he's bulked up a little bit. I think he was at 188 last year, and then I think he bulked up a little bit, to kind of get some about 13 pounds. So yeah, you're not wrong with those, but that's where the difference in the size comes in.
Yeah,
probably with cleats.
I know so far this year. I mean, yeah, he had some pretty good games at Mississippi, 239 yards. I mean, he had 130 yards against Arkansas. I mean, those are his most two highlighted, performance games that he's had so far with LSU. I was actually looking at NFL Draft Buzz. I mean, I love that site. Pretty awesome site for, some profiles on these NFL prospects that are coming in. They actually have him ranked number 4. I mean, number 4 behind Marvin. Yeah, so yeah, they got him ranked that high. So I mean, he's behind number 1 Marvin Harrison, Emeka Buka. I mean, number 2 Xavier Worthy from the Texas, number 3. So I mean, so they got him ranked fairly high, and right now, I mean, overall, I mean, it's Marvin Harrison is actually, receiving wise, he's actually number 20. So I mean, Nabers is actually outperforming him right now. You would think that with a high flying offense with Ohio State, you figured he would have more receiving yards, but he doesn't. Emeka Buka, he's not even in the top 100 for receiving yards. So he's outperforming him, and Xavier Worthy, I mean, he's outdoing him too. I mean, some of these high end prospects, and he's got 453 yards, and he's ranked number 48th, where Nabers is actually ranked number 1 right now with 860 some odd yards with this LSU offense. It's just playing crazy. And then he's actually getting 20% of the target share right now. So I mean, he's a monster hog right now. And then his catch rate's actually 85%. So I mean, this guy is catching everything and anything. Right now too, I mean, he's actually number 1, actually, just kind of in receiving yards per game. He's actually, he's averaging about 122 yards per game, which is just insane for his caliber and his height, and this is overall what he's made of. yards per catch, a little bit, 16.5. And that's for in the country wise, that's top 20. So I mean, there's some other wide receivers at different colleges that are, outperforming him a little bit. And I think there's a guy from Colorado State who's actually got almost like 20 yards per game right now. So he's um, outperforming him a little bit in that category. But I mean, receiving
I
per
think
game,
I think like 300 of those Colorado State receivers yards came against Colorado. I think if Malik played against Colorado and Coach Prime, I think he'd put up 500 yards. I mean, that's how bad that Colorado defense is. So that might be
yeah,
skewed. We're probably looking and to be at a major school. Most of these, the running backs and sometimes quarterback too, but a lot of times the running backs or receivers, they're from smaller schools, the guys that usually lead in yardage or touchdowns, guys you've never heard of. But I mean, the fact that Malik Nabers is on an SEC team, and in the the best probably the best conference, that in the Pac-12, best conferences in the country, and putting up these kind of stats, and I would say number one, college wise this year I think he's the best receiver I've seen so far. Like just
yeah,
game to game, everything. And there's nothing wrong with, and I'll see what you think on a comp, but there's nothing wrong with Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's a Pro Bowl level receiver. He's not, Hall of Fame level, but that'd be scary. I mean, that's a couple Super Bowls. Like, there's a couple Lombardis in the future if the Bengals are able to land him. Just saying, like him and Chase. My God.
yeah. I mean, my comp kind of was maybe kind of a CD Lamb, just because he
I can
played a
see,
little bit
CD.
inside.
See that.
He kind of played it inside for a little while, and then he's kind of outside a little bit. So I mean, he kind of played a little bit both, and more. He kind of played more of this, kind of more of the inside slot. If depending on who they're playing, he might be outside too a little bit as well. He's kind of that mid-tier reception, or he's kind of that medium kind of receiver too as well. I mean, he's got some long, deep threats too as well, which is not bad at all. I mean, I'm sure he's learned quite a bit, but I mean, he could be a deep threat too if he wants to be. Also, I was just going to say his numbers. He was receptions per game, about seven receptions per game. So I mean, he's ranked 7th overall in that category, as far as catching everything and anything. So yeah, overall, I mean, Malachi Nabers, he looks pretty legit, man. I mean, they got him projected in the first round, and it's hard saying where this kid's going to be going. I mean, yeah, with Higgins maybe being gone, and Boykin too. I mean, yeah, I mean, since he needs some help, that wouldn't be a bad situation.
I think another good fit I think it'd be Pittsburgh. To be honest, team him up with Pickens. I think they're going to trade or move off Deontay Johnson. Just in my opinion. I've seen some Steelers fans think any different, but I think Deontay Johnson's to be out the door at the end of the year, so they're going to need a number 2. And
Yeah.
Pickens, and so off top of my head, and that might be where Pittsburgh's picking. No pun intended. Is right in the middle of the first, right in the middle. They'll probably end up 8 and 9, something like that, and they'll be picking right in that neighborhood. And neighbors look, Bengals and Steelers. And it might change, and that might change. If the Bengals rip off, if Burrow's healthy, they rip off a bunch in a row, go 11-6. That might change, so then he's out of their range. But Steelers sound good too. They could and Pickens, I like a lot.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting combination for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's all I had on Malachi Nabers. So I mean, I hope everybody kind of likes this college segment, something a little bit different, and we kind of double team it. We kind of double teamed this segment a little bit.
Oh yeah, we double team. Yeah, baby, double team. That's right. You got it both ways.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, stay tuned for next week's college spotlight, and maybe I'll do some digging into the next person too as well. So I mean, who knows? Maybe this will be our small little segment where we talk about players, and this will be we'll make a college spotlight player list on YouTube. Maybe, who knows?
Excuse me. Long show. Getting a little. Might need some water. So Jay had mentioned him a couple minutes ago when we were talking about Nabers. Yeah, I'll steal some from you. Xavier Worthy from Texas. he'll be so we're going to do another receiver, another big time receiver next week. Xavier Worthy is going to be the college spotlight player. So if you guys look, I enjoy the. I know they take, it's a marathon show, and if you stick around towards the end, and if you want to skip the middle part, you want to come back for the college spotlight, or if you want to cherry pick, you want to just come in and out for the, for the waiver section. Oh, I don't want to hear the news. I don't care about the college spotlight. Just give me the waivers. I mean, we go an hour 45 deep some week. We did it again, So there's plenty of content in a variety. It's like a variety show. I should wear a top hat and a cane and just start dancing around and shit. It's a variety, and so yeah, we understand, and we probably need to be better about putting pins in different sections of the show, or breaking the show up and slicing it up into bite size form, 10 to 12, maybe 15-minute segments. But yeah, for right now, I mean, so we understand, people come in and out of the show. It's a long marathon. We try to, we condense this into one night, and we'd like to obviously break it up, but right now this is just how it works. But yeah, we appreciate everybody tuning in. But yeah, Xavier Worthy from Texas, if you're looking forward to the college spotlight segment for next week.
That sounds good. Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny. Donovan says you guys look like a couple double teamers. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Not trying to toot my horn or anything, Donovan, but toot.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I mean, the live chat was pretty much dead, but it is what it is. We're just here to put our content out, waiver wires. We're just kind of doing our own thing, even though there was no one really lively tonight. It's just me and him just hanging out. Nothing wrong with that at all. But we appreciate everybody that was actually viewing, even though they didn't really say anything. So I mean, hopefully you guys can give us a like, subscribe. Even though like this video. I mean, if you don't catch this, go back and rewatch it. I'm working on kind of putting in the time codes, which would kind of help after the show. It's a long process to kind of put those time codes in the description, so you guys can actually bounce around. If you guys want to catch certain players, that kind of helps that situation there. They'll pop up in the so you can just go to our way.
Yeah, and we work in there's a lot of these content creators, these guys, that's what they do. And like the bigger ones, the fantasy footballers and these bigger shows, that's their livelihood. So they have an editor, they have the time to do that kind of stuff because they've earned that years of creating content and kind of working their way up the ladder. So I mean, we do this is all DIY. We do everything ourselves. So and it's a grassroots thing. We don't spend money on sponsor, or trying to get our videos out there, paying money for marketing and a bunch of that kind of stuff. So the only way we get it out there is like word of mouth. So if you guys, I'd like to think that we're we provide a little bit of everything. So if you want to share the video, like I said, Jay, it's a process with putting time markers in. I know, a lot of other people do it, but it's like a lot of these other people, like we have full-time jobs and, we have other commitments. And it's like, so that's coming. And also a second show, possibly the first week in November. I know I said at the middle of October, but got some busy with some stuff, just things to handle. But probably realistically, like the first weekend in November, we can do that second show. But yeah, time code's coming, second show, which will help with waivers and even predicting games, or like betting, like games, setting your lineups, like a little bit of every comedy. If you guys want to have some funny bits or want to interact with us, like, I mean, that's and I can get a little sauce too. Usually I don't hit anything on these shows because like Jay's got to get to. He doesn't really drink on the show because like he's got to get to work, and I go and do my workout before I go to bed. So it's how we do it. But Saturday nights we can get a little sauce, so it'll be a little funnier. So yeah, all that stuff's coming. But yeah, just share the video. We appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yeah, we do. And Donovan says, sorry for the village of Ashkabanon. I needed my service tonight. Whatever that means. Sounds like some avocado stuff.
Donovan's putting out fires is what he's doing.
Yes. But I think that kind of covers everything. I'm gonna edit, cut, and get the waiver thing put up there in its own little player section.
Yep.
I might even cut up our I think I'm gonna cut up our Malachi Nabers thing as well for its own little college spotlight too as well. So
Malik, Malachi, whatever, tomato, it don't matter.
yeah. All right, guys. I think that covers everything that we needed to cover tonight. We'll see you get so you guys god damn, everything's all over my way. I think I need a new desk. I have so much crap and I just want to be organized, and I have so much stuff on my desk. It's not even funny. Try, just organize,
hope you clean it
man.
out, man. Some of my work, I hope you clean it out.
Right? But all right, guys, it's time for us to get the hell up out of here. Until next Tuesday, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys then. So from Out of Rhythm, I am Jamie, and that's Eli. We will see you guys next time. Laters.